Hey guys, Liz with the Busy Bee here, back with another great crochet video tutorial. Today I'll be working on another one of my favorites. It's part of the Holy Family crochet pattern. Today we'll be focusing on Mary's pattern here. You can find the link to the written pattern shop in the description below. There you'll find all three figures of the full Holy Family bundle in one, as well as more fun projects to follow along with. If you already completed the kneeling or praying figure tutorial from the channel, then you are ahead of the game here. You will use the same pattern as the base, and the only difference would be to add on the beautiful head covering or veil. If not to worry, we will go through the full tutorial here together as well. Be sure to go ahead and click the subscribe button for the channel, that way you do not miss out on any of the great content headed your way. Today we'll be using a size 4mm crochet hook or G6. You'll also be needing your scissors, stitch marker, yarn needle, sewing pins, stuffing, and a base insert of your choice just to help maintain her shape. Here I'll be using cardboard. For her yarn, you'll be needing 4 different colors, one in blue for her dress, white for her veil, tan for her skin tone, and brown for her hair. So let's get started. We will begin by making her base of the body and head. For round 1, we're going to be using the dress colored yarn and make a slip knot. Now chain 7. For round 2, we're going to be starting from the 3rd chain from the hook, so skipping these first 2 and working into that 3rd. We're going to double crochet once in each of the next 4 chains. Now into this last chain, we're going to double crochet 6 times. Now we'll be working on the underside of the chains, and we're going to double crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Double crochet 5 times into that last chain. Slip stitch to end the round. Now we will chain 2, and we should have 19 stitches. For round 3, we're going to begin by double crocheting increasing in that first stitch. Double crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Double crochet 5 times into this next stitch. Double crochet once in each of the next 9 stitches. Double crochet 5 times into this next stitch. Double crochet once in each of the last 3 stitches. Slip stitch to end around and we should have 28 stitches. Now for round 4 we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Increase in each of the next 5 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 8 stitches. Increase in each of the next 5 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 4 stitches. Slip stitch to end the round and we should have 38 stitches. For round 5 we're going to be working in the back loops, so instead of going to both loops like this, we're going to just be taking this back loop. For round 5 we're going to back loop single crochet in each of the next 38 stitches. Slip stitch to end the round and we should still have 38 stitches. For round 6 we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the next 4 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, so going to that first stitch, grab that front loop, into the next stitch, grab that front loop, yarn over, pull through, and complete out that decrease. Now single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 12 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. And single crochet once in each of the last 6 stitches. We should now have 34 stitches. Here we're going to be inserting our base insert. You can use any insert of your choosing. I just happen to have cardboard handy, so I'm going to be using that today. To size the insert, you can place the figure you have completed so far on top of your material of choosing and trace around the bottom. Then you cut that out and there you have the perfect sizing. For round 7, we're going to begin by single crocheting in the next 2 stitches. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 10 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. And decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch. And decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the last 3 stitches, and we should have 27 stitches in total. For round 8, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 3 stitches. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. And single crochet once in each of the next 11 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 6 stitches, and after that we should have 24 stitches in total. For round 9, we're just going to single crochet once in each of the next 24 stitches. After round 9, we should still have 24 stitches. For round 10, we're going to single crochet once in that first stitch, and then decrease using the next 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in that next stitch, and decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 4 stitches. After that, we should have 19 stitches in total. Here we will insert a bit of polyfill just so that we can fill those hard to reach spots that you might not be able to reach so easily later on in the pattern. For round 11, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the next 13 stitches. Increase in each of the next 6 stitches. After this, we should have 25 stitches in total. For round 12, we are going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the first 4 stitches. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 12 stitches. Increase in the next 4 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the last 3 stitches, and we should have 28 stitches in total. For round 13, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in each of the first 3 stitches. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 15 stitches. Increase in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches, and you should have 29 stitches in total. For round 14, we're going to begin by single crocheting in the first 2 stitches, and then decreasing using the next 2 stitches. Single crochet once in each of the next 25 stitches. After this, we should have 28 stitches in total. For round 15, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 3 stitches. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the next 8 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in the next stitch. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in the next stitch. Now decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 4 stitches. After this, we should have 23 stitches in total. For round 16 through 17, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 23 stitches. Since round 16 through 17 are just a repeating pattern of single crochets, I will speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 17. Okay, so now here I'm just finishing up round 17 and we should still have 23 stitches around. For round 18, we're going to begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 8 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 11 stitches. We should now have 21 stitches in total. For round 19, we're going to begin by decreasing using those first 2 stitches, and now single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 11 stitches. After this, we should have 19 stitches in total. For round 20, we're going to begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches, and then single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 9 stitches. After that, we should have a total of 17 stitches. For round 21, we're going to begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 7 stitches. After this, we should have a total of 15 stitches. For round 22, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 15 stitches. After this, we should have 15 stitches in total. For round 23, we're going to begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 5 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 6 stitches. After this, we should have a total of 13 stitches. For round 24, we're going to begin by decreasing using the first 2 stitches. Now single crochet once in each of the next 3 stitches. Decrease using the next 2 stitches, and single crochet once in each of the last 6 stitches. After this, we should have 11 stitches in total. Now we will go ahead and stuff her body fully. Okay, so here I have her body all stuffed, and this is what she should look like so far. Now we'll be moving on to making the base of her head. So for round 25, we're going to begin by switching to the skin colored yarn. So into this first stitch, we're going to yarn over and pull through. And then before we complete out that single crochet, we're going to grab our skin tone colored yarn. Here I'm just going to be using tan. Wrap it over our hook, leaving a bit of a tail. And then pull through those last 2 loops to complete out that single crochet. Now only working with our tan colored yarn, we're going to increase in the next stitch. Now repeat this for the remaining 9 stitches, starting again with the single crochet. After this, we should have 16 stitches in total. We can go ahead and cut those extra tails left from that color change. For round 26, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then increase in the next. Now repeat this pattern for the remaining 14 stitches, starting again with the single crochet. After this, we should have a total of 24 stitches. For round 27, we're going to begin by single crocheting in the first 2 stitches, and then increasing in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 21 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. After this, we should have a total of 32 stitches. For rounds 28 through 30, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 32 stitches. Since rounds 28 through 30 are a repeating pattern of single crochets, I will speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 30. Okay, so here I am finishing up round 30, and we should still have 32 stitches in total. For round 31, we're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then decrease using the next 2 stitches. Now repeat this pattern for the remaining 28 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. After this, we should have 24 stitches in total. For round 32, we're going to begin by single crocheting in that first stitch, and then decreasing using the next 2 stitches. Now repeat this pattern for the remaining 21 stitches, starting again with a single crochet. After this, we should have 16 stitches in total. For round 33, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in that first stitch, and then decreasing using the next 2 stitches. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 13 stitches, starting again with a single crochet. After this, we should have 11 stitches in total. Now we will stuff the head fully. So now here I have the head all stuffed. For round 34, we're going to begin by decreasing using 2 stitches at a time for the next 10 stitches. Now we're going to single crochet once into this last stitch. We should have 6 stitches in total. Now we will fasten off the yarn and hide the remaining tail. To sew the remaining hole closed, we're going to begin by weaving our needle through each of the stitches' front loops. Now pull tight and hide the tail. Now we are done with the base of the Mary figure. We'll be moving on to making her collar next. Now for her collar, we're going to begin by turning our figure upside down. We're going to be working in between the rounds where we had color change between her dress to her skin tone, and I like to start in the back. So we're going to insert our hook in between those rounds, and then using the dress colored yarn, we're going to make a slip knot. Pull it tight onto our crochet hook, pull that through, chain 1, and now we're going to single crochet 1 stitch in each of the 11 stitches where the neck and the head meet. So just in between those 2 rounds where we color changed into our skin tone colored yarn. Now we will slip stitch to end the round, and we should have 11 stitches in total. For round 2, we're going to begin by single crocheting 1 stitch in each of the first 3 stitches. Now we are going to increase in that next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 7 stitches, starting again with 3 single crochet. Slip stitch to end the round, and we should have 13 stitches in total. For round 3, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 2 stitches, and then increasing in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the next 9 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. We would make 1 single crochet into this last stitch. Now slip stitch to end the round, and we should have 17 stitches in total. For round 4, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 7 stitches. Now increase in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the next 8 stitches, starting again with 7 single crochet. Single crochet once into this last stitch, and slip stitch to end the round. We should have 19 stitches in total. Now we will fasten off and hide the tails. Now that we are done with her collar, we'll be moving on to making her arms. For round 1, we're going to begin by using the skin tone colored yarn and make a magic ring of 4 single crochet. Now pull the magic ring closed. For rounds 2 to 3, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 4 stitches. After round 3 is complete, we should still have 4 single crochet. For round 4, we're going to be switching to the blue colored yarn. So we're going to go into this first stitch, yarn over and pull through. And then before we finish off that single crochet, we're going to take our blue yarn, wrap it over a hook leaving a bit of a tail, and pull through those last 2 loops. Now only working with our blue colored yarn, we're going to increase in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 2 stitches, starting again with the single crochet. After this round, we should have 6 stitches in total. We can go ahead and cut those extra tails left by that color change. For rounds 5 through 6, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. After round 6 is complete, we should still have 6 single crochet. For round 7, we're only going to be working in this back loop, so instead of taking both loops like this, we're only going to be working in this back one. So for round 7, we're going to back loop only, single crochet in the next 6 stitches. After round 7 is complete, we should still have 6 single crochet. For rounds 8 through 12, we're going to single crochet once in each of the next 6 stitches. Since rounds 8 through 12 are just a repeating pattern of single crochets, I will speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 12. Once we're done with round 12, we will slip stitch to end the round. Now we can fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. Now we'll be making the sleeve of her arm. So start with a slip knot in our blue colored yarn. And then turn the yarn upside down, and in the loops we did not work in of round 7, we're going to single crochet once in each of the 6 loops. So pull that slip knot onto our crochet hook, pull it through the first loop, and chain 1. Now single crochet once in each of the next 6 loops. After round 1, we should have 6 single crochet. For round 2, we're going to single crochet once in the first 2 stitches, and then increase in that next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 3 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. After this is complete, we should have 8 single crochet in total. For round 3, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 2 stitches, and then increase in the next stitch. Repeat this for the remaining 5 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. Now we will slip stitch the end around, which I have went ahead and done. And now we can fasten off. Now we will hide these tails, leaving the long tail for sewing. Here I have all the tails hidden, and I made sure to leave that longer one. Now we repeat this pattern for our second arm. Here I have both arms done, and now we're going to sew it onto our figure. Start by taking one of the arms, and we are just going to pin it right up against her collar. Just like this. Now we are going to use that tail we left to sew her arm down to her body. Now we will repeat this with our second arm, pinning it right up against her collar on the opposite side of her body. Now again, we're just going to use that tail we left to sew this arm down as well. Once we are done sewing, we can go ahead and hide those remaining tails. Now we will be sewing her hands down into the prayer position. Start by cutting a long piece of our skin tone colored yarn. Now take her two hands and just flatten them together just like this. Now with the piece of yarn we had cut, we're going to sew her two hands in place. Once we are done sewing, we can go ahead and hide that remaining tail. Now that we are done with her arms, we'll be moving on to making her hair next. For round 1, we're going to be using the hair colored yarn, here I'm using brown, and make a magic ring of 6 single crochet. Now close the magic ring. For round 2, we're going to increase in each of the next 6 stitches. After round 2, we should have 12 single crochet in total. For round 3, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in that first stitch, and then increasing in the next. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 10 stitches, starting again with 1 single crochet. After round 3, we should have 18 single crochet in total. For round 4, we're going to begin by single crocheting once in the first 2 stitches, and then increasing in the next stitch. Repeat this pattern for the remaining 15 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. After round 4, we should have 24 single crochet. For round 5, we're going to begin by slip stitching in the first stitch and chain 21. Now starting in the second chain from the hook, so skipping this first one and going to the second one, we're going to slip stitch increase in the first 4 chains. Now we will slip stitch once into each of the next 16 chains. After this is done, we should have 24 slip stitches in total. Now we have completed one strand of her hair. We will slip stitch in the next stitch and chain 21. Now repeat the process all the way around the 24 stitches. So start again by chaining 21. And then in that second chain from the hook, so skipping that first one, we're going to slip stitch increase in the first 4 chains. Now slip stitch once into each of the next 16 chains. Now we will slip stitch in the next stitch, and we have completed our second strand of hair. Now we'll just repeat this all the way around for the remaining 22 stitches, starting again with a chain of 21, and I'll meet you back here when I'm finishing up strand 24. Okay, so now I'm back and I'm just finishing up the 24th strand. Once we're done with strand 24, we're just going to slip stitch in the last stitch and fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. Now we'll be sewing her hair onto the head. So begin by placing the top of that hair onto the top of her head, just like this. And for her hair, we're going to style it later on, just like this. So we're going to leave 4 strands undone. So make sure just to single out those 4 strands, and make sure they're in line with her hands, so that way everything is nice and centered when we're done. Now we're just going to pin the top of the hair in place. Now using that tail we left, we're just going to sew down the top of her hair in place. Okay, so once we're done with this, we can go ahead and take those 4 strands we left for later and just pin them up to the top, just to keep them out of the way. Now we're going to pin down each of the remaining strands to her head. Okay, so now we're going to sew each strand together. You can do this any way you like here, since her hair is just going to be covered by a veil anyway, but I'm going to show you how I do it here. So begin by taking your needle and going through that first strand of hair, which I've done here. Then we're going to go in that second strand and take one loop, just like this, and then one loop from that first strand too. Now pull through, and repeat this one more time. Now for this next stitch, we will take a loop from her hair, a loop from her head, so a stitch from her head just like this, and one more loop from that first strand of hair. So we should have a total of 3 loops on our needle. Then we're going to pull through and repeat this 4 more times. Now here we will go back to only taking her hair loops, so take one loop from that second strand, one loop from that first strand, and pull through, and repeat this for the next 7 to 8 stitches. Now this part is up to you, but here I like to stop sewing the strands together, leaving about 9 to 10 stitches still undone, because I like how it gives the hair a more natural look. Now that we're done sewing strands 1 and 2 together, we will be moving on to strands 2 and 3. And instead of working down the strand like we did here, for strands 2 and 3 we will be working upwards. So transfer our needle to strand 3. And the sewing process is the same, but just reversed. So here we'll start by only taking the hair loops from both strands for the next 9 to 10 stitches. Now we will take one strand from her hair, one strand from her head, and then one more strand from her hair, just like this for the next 5 stitches. For these last 2 stitches, we will just be taking her hair loops. Okay, so now here we have sewn strands 2 and 3, and we would just repeat this pattern all the way around. Here we have worked up the strands, and for the next set we'll be working down strands 3 and 4, and just repeat that alternating pattern for the remainder. I will meet you back here when I have reached strand 20. Okay, so now here I'm just finishing up sewing strands 20 and 19 together. Now once we are done sewing, we will just hide the tail through the strand. Now that the main part of the hair is done, we will just finish up sewing the remaining 4 strands we saved earlier. So begin by unpinning 2 of the strands and just swooping them to the left. Now pin that in place. And just repeat that for the second strands, swooping those to the right and pinning them in place. Now we will take a piece of the brown yarn and sew those strands in place. Okay, so now we'll just repeat that same process for that second side, and I'll meet you back here when that's done. Okay, so now I went ahead and sewn that second side and hid all the tails, and this is how she should look so far. The last step will just be to make her veil. For round 1, we're going to be using the white colored yarn and make a magic ring of 6 single crochet. Now close that magic ring. For round 2, we're going to increase in each of the next 6 stitches. After round 2, we should have 12 single crochet in total. For round 3, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch and increase in the next. Repeat the pattern for the remaining 10 stitches, starting again with a single crochet. After round 3, we should have 18 single crochet. For round 4, we're going to single crochet once in the first 2 stitches and then increase in the next. Now repeat this for the remaining 15 stitches, starting again with 2 single crochet. After round 4, we should have 24 single crochet in total. For rounds 5 through 17, we're going to single crochet 20 stitches, now chain 1 and turn, and single crochet 20 stitches. We should have 4 stitches that we're just going to leave undone. Since rounds 5 through 17 are a repeating process, I'll speed up the video here and meet you back at the end of round 17. Now we will single crochet a border all the way around the veil in white. So just starting on this corner here, we're just going to single crochet all the way around in between each of the stitches. Once we reach this opposite corner here, we will just slip stitch to end off that border. Now fasten off and hide the tails. Now we will be adding the blue detailing that goes all the way around her veil. So with the blue colored yarn, we will make a slip knot and insert the hook into the edge of the veil. So I'm just going to start in this corner here, just insert it into that stitch. Now pull the slip knot through that stitch, just like this. Now we go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and complete that slip stitch. Now repeat that pattern all the way around until we have reached the end of our veil. Okay, so now here I have completed the veil and I went ahead and hid the tails. Now we can just place the veil onto the head of our Mary. Here you have the option to sew down the veil, but I'm just going to leave it removable. Other than that, we are all done with our Mary figure. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as well. You can find the link to the written pattern shop in the description below. There you will find all 3 figures of the full Holy Family bundle in one. I would love to see your projects and what you have done, so be sure to find me on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok and tag me there. Also subscribe here and comment what pattern or tutorial you would like to see next. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!